Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Davo from Archon Esports, casting the second game in the clash between Whiterot and EmpireKas. Okay, so they are saying they're having a rematch here. To clarify again, this is 3 games I found in a row. So I'm making it into a 3v3. Sorry, a 3v3? Oh god. No, I'm making it into a best of 3. There we go. Awesome. So in the bottom right hand corner we do have our red Terran player, EmpireKas, and in the top left hand corner we have our blue Protoss, Whiterot. Awesome. So in that last game, I mean, they both played very, very well and spent about 4 minutes being capped, either of them, and just kind of treading on eggshells around each other. And then in the big engagement at the end, it did seem that Whiterot may have lost his army due to some fairly poor micromanagement, and here we have meaning Marine Marauder in some circles, and then Miss Clicky, wink. So is he going to go Who knows. Awesome. Cool stuff. Excellent. Okie dokie. So here we do have Whiterot scouting around, seeing that the barracks has gone down for EmpireKas, and is doing the very, very, very annoying SCV harass that Terran players have all come to know and hate. Oh god. But Whiterot's probe there being lucky to escape with his life, as the SCVs nearly tore him a new one. Okay, we got a refinery on the way for EmpireKas. It looks like he might be going roughly the same kind of build as last time, but Whiterot might have a little bit more luck on this map because there are quite a lot more open plains on this than Shakura's Plateau. Because really Whiterot kind of got stuck. His army was kind of stuck. I mean, he could have gone backwards, but how deep he was into that engagement wouldn't have helped at any point in time. He blinked up onto a cliff, therefore trapping some of his stalkers, and also the Colossus were a little bit vulnerable as well. Also, I mean, Cats had a hell of a lot of Vikings, and yeah, here we do have the reactor down again. It looks like it might be the very same sort of reactor that we saw put down about this time in the last game as well. And obviously we have both players macroing up. Whiterot going for, again, a very, very standard Protoss play. No sort of one pylon extravaganza going on here though. The warp gate coming up straight away. Excellent. He could probably afford to blow a chrono boost on that. There we are. Sweet. Okay, and a zealot again legging it down towards Kaz's base. And it does look like Kaz is going to be early expanding here, which is different to the last game, because we had Whiterot expanding first last time, which is kind of different actually. I wouldn't be too surprised if Whiterot actually goes and puts down an expansion here now, like he did in the last game. But Kaz actually expanded about 2 minutes or 3 minutes later than Whiterot in the last game. In the early game in StarCraft 2, 2 or 3 minutes is actually a millennium. It really does become a very, very, very intense race between players. And we have 2 barracks going down here as well to complement his one. And again, I wouldn't be too surprised to see a tech lab on at least one of these barracks. So we have a zealot here holding the Zalnaga tower along with a probe. Awesome. And a stalker coming on down here too. The stalker would fare fairly well against these marines, but not so well against the marauders when they begin to come out. Not at all. So both of these do have tech labs going down, so we will be seeing marauder play in this game. Awesome. And a robotics facility. Wow, I failed then. A robotics facility going down for Whiterot, and he'll probably be scouting his opponent with observers as well. If I was to hedge bets on this game, I'd probably say that Whiterot might have an edge for quite a while, and perhaps maybe even come out on top. If I decide that I'm going to try and guess who's going to win, I like to be as vague as possible because I really don't like to be seen that way. It's like, oh, he's just gonna guess and stuff, you know, whatever. Anyway, we do have EmpireKas moving out here to his Zelnaga tower, and the Zealot's thankfully moved himself away, but this Stalker has moved himself into this group of Marines. Stalker will very easily out-micro these Marines because they are just a lot faster. One thing I won't out-micro so easily is this slightly larger ball with 2 Marauders and an extra Marine here as well, and the Marauders do a rather large amount of damage against Stalkers. I think it's 2 for 1, i.e. 1 Marauder will beat 2 or maybe 2.5 Stalkers. And here we do have some really, really good force fields from White Roar trapping the Marines' movement. This might actually clear up the attack as well. It will clear up this attack. Awesome force fields from White Roar, and this is what I mean. When he's in a slightly larger area, then there's a very good chance that he will have the upper hand because he can use these force fields properly. And it looks like our players had a little bit of lag. And just going, wait, go. Awesome, cool beans. I think that's my phrase of the day or something, because I am just saying it sporadically. We do have Stalkers coming around here. Now I think White Roar does want to be a little bit careful, because, I mean, if Kaz moves some Marauders around here, he could block off an escape route for the Stalkers, and thus lose quite a lot of his army, in a kind of extravagant pincer movement. But it just looks like he was going in for a poke, and nothing more. And he's just going to pull back now and see if Kaz actually has an expansion or not. Awesome! If we look at the units tab here, I've got to say that White Roar is very, very far ahead. Not that this is... Well, I mean, White Roar really does have 11 more workers, and that's quite a large difference at this stage in the game. You've got to remember that Terrans do have the mules, which really do increase the amount of resources gained very quickly over a short period of time. So, I mean, I wouldn't exactly call it a negligible thing that he has less workers, but I don't know, it's not usual to see players with that big a worker gap at this stage in the game. But I mean, White Roar really is going for the worker building here. I mean, obviously you need to be building workers all the time, but I think White Roar has been really using his chrono boost to its fullest ability and has actually stopped building workers at the moment, for now anyway. Now we do have the Colossus range upgrade on the way. It looks like White Roar will be going for his Colossus build again. It looks like these Stalkers will be able to take down these Marauders fairly easily, even though they have been spinned. And I mean, I think that was only 4 Marauders, and look at the damage they inflicted as well on these Stalkers. And seeing as the Marauders were being unloaded one by one, it's more difficult for them to be actually effective as well. So you've got to keep that in mind. Marauders are a really brutal kind of... They're a brutal opponent to your humble Stalker. This Marine here, it is not his day as he turns into ash, waves his arms around, and eventually dies. Awesome! This medevac also has a pretty bad day. Now we do have the scouting factory here that looks like it will probably be taken down by White Roar as well. And we have Cass getting ready for the fight of his life here, as these armies that are pretty evenly matched size each other up. Now White Roar does pull back a little bit because he sees the probes getting ready to heal up this bunker, and well, basically when Terrans repair stuff, whilst it's under attack, things can become very, very difficult to kill all of a sudden. Now opting to go round the bottom right hand corner where there's not so much Terran forces, he looks like he's going to be causing some trouble here for EmpireKas. And one of those Vikings is damaged. The SCV's rushing to repair it already and actually help try and give Cass the edge. We do have another Colossus coming down. This is very, very aggressive compared to the last game. The last game was a bit of a macro fest, with both players really becoming camped very quickly. This looks like we could see quite a lot of aggression here now from White Roar. This bunker will surely go down. This could look like curtains for Kaz actually, But if White-Ra's not careful, he could lose the Stalkers as well. White-Ra wants to put some force fields down there behind this Terran army, so they can't out-micro the Colossus like that. It looks like this is going to, in fact, get cleared up by EmpireKas, but not at a price, because he did lose quite a few SCVs and a little bit of time mining. In the production tab, we do see Colossus on the way still for White-Ra, and we see lots and lots of gateways being chrono boosted and many more forces coming in. I don't think by any means that was a complete disaster for White-Ra. In many ways, it was quite a decent attack, actually. And now we do have EmpireKas in a rather sticky situation, seeing as most of his army has moved up to that Xel'Naga watchtower, presumably to watch out across this map. And once again, there we are with a kind of macro pincer movement. This army from White-Ra will get cleared up pretty easily. These Marauders just coming out here and causing trouble. I don't know, it seems to me like White-Ra kind of needs to take an expansion at this point. He's very, very far ahead. It's fairly obvious that he should be able to win this game, whatever happens, in my opinion. Maybe not. Maybe I think that's actually a really stupid thing to say. But he's very far ahead, especially in money. I mean, he has got a lot of money here. He's got a lot of minerals, which could be used to put quite a bit of pressure on his opponent. But really, the fact he's got so much money can be attributed to the fact that, well, he doesn't actually have any upgrades yet, for instance. That's bad, considering that Kaz has 2 weapons coming and 3 on the way, sorry. White-Ra really needs to invest some time into his research here, because at this level of play and at this kind of increment, it can be a very, very deadly thing if these Zealots aren't armoured properly. I'm not sure any of these Zealots are actually going to get hold of any of this army here. This expansion from White-Ra is almost definitely going to be cancelled or taken down. But here we do have reinforcing Stalkers coming in. It would have been maybe good if he got some reinforcing Zealots in as well and trap those Marauders. But the state of Kaz's micro is actually very good. Unfortunately, these Stalkers don't have blinks, so they can't quite catch up to the medevacs on time and polish off the rest of the army of EmpireKas. Here we have possibly another little bit of lag for both players. Now, White-Ra is ahead by 30 supply, but let's not let us fool that. This whole army from EmpireKas did just get away, basically, more or less unscathed. And it looks like it's going to be laying down a little bit of aggression onto this expansion from White-Ra. And it looks like it is actually going to go down, because White-Ra's army seem to be doing some sort of all-in attack here. These Zealots do suddenly have charge, which will increase their effectiveness, even though they don't have much armour or weapons upgrades at all. At this stage in the game, you should really, really be thinking about getting those upgrades, or at least more than just armor 1 like he has. Again though, disturbing the mining from EmpireKas. It looks here like if White-Ra hadn't have warped so many Zealots in, that could have been a pretty nasty blow to White-Ra's economy, and White-Ra is actually taking a third in a slightly more secure position, closer to his base, and where things can just be warped in very, very easily, and Colossus can just walk down that cliff, no problem. Pylon being taken down there by EmpireKas, and it looks like he's going to be moving back, but I mean, still EmpireKas does not have a third. It's looking a bit dodgy. He's spent quite a lot of his time just flying his units, his command centers about, trying to get a decent place to put them where they won't be harassed constantly by White-Ra's units. And we do have another battle coming in here, which, depending on how it goes, could be a fairly decisive battle. But White-Ra still is not working on these upgrades. We do have the Guardian Shield going down here, and lots of Zealots charging into the battle very quickly. This looks like it could be very, very bad for Kaz indeed. Seeing as these Zealots are pretty much, seeing as these Marauders are pretty much going to get cleared up extensively by these Colossus. And there's the GG from Kaz, and I can hardly blame him. I would not want to be playing this game, or at least this match, anymore. Goodness me. Denial after denial from White-Ra. Excellent play by White-Ra, just constantly denying his opponent his base. But, I mean, having to be more proactive with the denying of the base, he obviously accidentally forgot to take his weapons and armor research, which maybe would have helped him win quite a lot quicker. I mean, players like White-Ra have such high APM, and they're so focused that it really couldn't have pushed that far. It couldn't have pushed him that far just to click on this and press G or A, or even S if he was feeling a bit fruity. I mean, he built this forge and he only got one upgrade, but well, you can't falter him though. He did win the game. Anyway, guys, this was game 2, which White-Ra won, seeing as Kaz won the first game, which is interesting. So then we'll have a third game, which is the decider. Excellent. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I will talk to you guys next time. Cheers.